morning, guys. I posted on my stories this week that I was going to do a Q&A video. I haven't done one since I've moved apartments, and so I asked in my stories if you guys wanted to do one, and majority voted yes. So that's what we're gonna do. I apologize if the sound isn't great because I am outside. I wanted to do this somewhere outside of my apartment. So thank you for all of you that submitted questions. I have them all right here screenshotted, and I'm just gonna start answering them starting from the bottom. So in a year isn't very long from now. I can definitely still see myself living in my same apartment. If I have the opportunity to renew the lease, I definitely will. I love my new apartment and I want to stay there for as long as I possibly can. Career-wise, probably still doing the same thing. I would think. I really do love the company that I work for right now. I feel really lucky to have the opportunity, and I work with some really great people. I love my team. And then as far as YouTube, I will definitely still be doing YouTube in a year. I love doing YouTube, and I couldn't imagine myself just not doing it anymore. It's my favorite little hobby. Okay, I wanted to move away from the busy street. Well, at first I would say that I'm definitely not positive all the time. I just always try to think about like what's coming ahead, like this weekend I'm going away to do something, or the weekend is coming, or the spring is coming, or something like that. I love this question. Okay, so buying an apartment in New York is definitely the more financially smart option. But it's very expensive. It's like at least $2 million plus to buy an apartment in New York, and in Manhattan especially it's like $10 million. I mean, buying an apartment would definitely be a huge investment. Not something that I am able to do right now, but I mean maybe in the future, yeah, if I like felt in a like good place financially to buy an apartment, I definitely would. I think it's a really good investment. Probably. I love New York, and I just, as far as in the United States, I feel like this is the place that is the most truest and closest to me, which is just a place that is, I don't know, just so like booming with energy, and like everything that you could possibly ever want is here. And the fashion is like such a big one for me. As far as the United States go, it's the fashion capital, and so I couldn't imagine living in any other place. So yeah, I mean, you know, we'll see where life takes me, but I mean, I guess if I weren't to live in New York City, next place on my list would 1000% be Paris. But I just need to learn French and would need to have a reason to actually get a visa and be able to live there. But yeah, if it weren't New York City, it would be Paris. Thank you, that is so sweet of you to say. I don't know, I hope that I can be so lucky one day to have a family, but I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't know. I've always thought that I would, but we'll see. Budget per se. I kind of have like in the back of my head how much I know I can spend, and I really just start with like my bills, and then I kind of just go from there. Maybe I'll make a whole separate video on like budgeting and in living in the city if you guys think that that would be helpful. to go for it. No matter what situation you are in life, you are like your own strong self, and I feel like we should all just go after what we want. If living alone is what you want, then go for it. If it's financials holding you back, figure out how much you need to save or what you need to do career-wise to get to that point. Or if it's, say, you know, like a friendship thing or a relationship thing, I mean, you're gonna have to work that out, but like living alone to me is just the best thing. And I've said, you know, before, obviously I think that every girl should experience that at some point in their life. I think that sometimes it's so easy to go from, you know, living at home to living at college to living with roommates after college to living with a boyfriend. But I just kind of have this fear that in the future in my life, you know, if say I have a family, kids, etc., when am I ever gonna get a time just to me? And I feel like there's probably a lot of women out there, not saying that, you know, family and kids is bad or anything, because that's great, but like I'm sure that they're like, oh dang, I just wish that I had some time to myself. And I feel like that's what I'm taking the opportunity to do right now. I am just a well, not single, I have a boyfriend, but like besides that, girl just alone, and I don't have anyone to worry about other than myself pretty much. So I mean, if you have the opportunity, take it. And if that means moving to a new city, a new country, just do it. Just do it. Oh my gosh, I love this question, and it's so funny because those are like my 3 favorite stories right now. I would say I would have to, this is so hard because I love all of them. I wish I could just marry all of them. I would say if I had to marry one of them, it would be Love Shack Fancy, because Love Shack Fancy to me is the #1, like truest, closest style to what is in my soul. So I'd have to marry Love Shack Fancy. Kill out of Cezanne and Zara, I would probably kill Zara, just because Zara is a little bit more fast fashion. I know it's more high street, but sometimes it's a little more trendy. I feel like I can go there for any like basics, but I mean, Cezanne is just too pretty to kill. And then the last one, I guess, is just the F one, and that would have to go for Cezanne. Yeah, I guess just because it's like a nicer one, and maybe it's like more of like a French sexy thing. I don't know, this is weird, guys. Most of my decor, as far as like my dresser, my kitchen table, chairs, is from Zara. And then other things like my coffee table is from Amazon. My garment rack is from Etsy. My couch is from High Fashion Home. I would say a combination of IKEA, Amazon, and Etsy for the most part though. Other things are things that say my like friends or family have given me. Like my friend gave me my kitchen towels, she made them for me. Or I have another friend who I met on YouTube who gave me like a little magnet from Ecuador, and I put that in my fridge. And so it's just like a combination of things like that. So I've answered this question in another video of mine. I will leave a link to it up above. But I basically started YouTube just with the intention of making videos for fun. I actually, back when I was like, I don't know, 15 or 16 years old, like back in like old YouTube, started making some videos. But I never posted them just because I wasn't confident enough. And back then, no one was even making money on YouTube, like from ads. And people were just posting because they wanted to. It was fun. Instagram wasn't a thing yet. TikTok wasn't a thing yet. It was like the only, I guess, like user-generated content that people were creating themselves. And it just like to me was such a great thing. That was how I learned to do makeup, was on YouTube, even though I'm a millennial. And I never thought of it as like being something that I would do full time, although it's hard to say at the same time that, like, you know, in today's day and age, now that people do make money off of YouTube doing what they love, you know in the back of your mind that that could always potentially be a possibility. But for me, even if it never became a possibility, I would probably still be making videos because it just is a way of expressing myself, and it's a creative outlet for me because I am such a creative person, and I'm a very like sensitive, deep person, and I have to be creating things all the time. And in my day job, I am doing math all the time, which is so not me. And so, and like numbers and Excel, and so for me, like I just needed an outlet. And so yeah, I mean, I will be making videos whether it becomes a job of mine or not. If it ever did in the future, great. I do make a tiny bit of money off of like ads that you see when you watch the videos, so that helps, but it's nothing that I could actually live off of. And I also do affiliate links too, so I signed up for like reward style and shop style, which is where like if I, you know, like, and like talking about like, oh my god, I love this dress or something, if you click on the link and buy the dress, I am able to earn a really tiny commission. But again, it's like a tiny commission. I definitely couldn't live off of it at all. So it's definitely not an option for me right now. I would eat bread and butter because I love bread and butter. Like when I go out to a restaurant and then they give you the free bread, I just like, I love it so much. I could just eat the bread and not need to order a meal and I would be good. Like that's how like much I love bread. I feel like it's the type of food that I could never get sick of either because it's just kind of like a bland, simple thing. Oh my gosh, you guys. So it's like, it's one of those things that's like, I told you guys kind of like in my apartment hunting video, sort of like the range that I was looking for, but something like a part of me feels weird giving you like the exact number of my rent just because it kind of feels like, I don't know, it feels like a very personal thing, but whatever. I know so many of you, so many people have asked this, so I will just tell you my rent is $21.50 a month, and it was definitely discounted just because it's COVID right now. So I really hope that I can keep this apartment in the future and my rent doesn't go up. So cross your fingers, say a little prayer for me. Hard one. I feel like most people say like I wouldn't change anything because, you know, I'm happy where I am now, but there is something that I would change, and that would be my relationship with my younger brother. I don't know if I've ever told you guys, but I do have a younger brother, and I just felt like we've kind of have grown apart over the years, and I don't know, we live in different places. I really only see him when I go home for holidays, and yeah, we're just not as close as other siblings are, and yeah. It's pink, of course. I love pink so much. So many things in my apartment are pink. Pink couch, pink coats, pink yoga mat, pink over there, pink pillows, pink flowers, pink shoes, yeah, pink toothbrush, everything is pink. Yes, I wish that pigtails would come back in fashion. I have very fine hair. There's not really a lot of ways I can do my hair that looks cute, but pigtails on me I think is cute. And it's something that I wish would be cool. Like when I was younger, obviously as like a kid, I wore my hair in pigtails, but I miss doing it and I feel like it's not acceptable as an adult. Okay, there's a lot of questions about budgeting and finance and managing finances living in such an expensive city. So I think I'm just gonna have to make a whole separate video on this. So I'm so glad that you guys submitted those. That way I know like that's something that you want to know more about. So I will make a whole separate video on that. Yes, definitely, as long as the rent isn't raised, I will be staying here for as long as I possibly can. I love this apartment. it's hard, but I find that I've gotten into a routine, and it's like once you kind of stick to a routine, you feel like you don't want to break the routine, and the routine has to be something that's actually realistic and achievable for you. So for me, I've said, okay, like my goal is going to be doing a workout 3 times a week. That's it, just 3 times a week. Obviously, I wish that I could work out every day of the week, but when it comes to like washing my hair and showering and having time to do that and making YouTube videos and just life, that's just not really achievable for me. So instead of, rather than being like, oh, I just don't have time and doing nothing, I'm like, you can do 3 days a week. And then I also find that it's really helpful to do it as soon as I'm done with work. So obviously it would be so easy to just shut off my laptop and then just veg out on the couch, or like lay down in my bed, or, you know, do whatever else I want to do. But if I just go straight from work to doing a workout, then it's like it's done for the night, it's already checked off the list, and then I can relax the rest of the night. So yeah, just doing it right away is also really helpful for motivation too. Okay, my favorite, I've gone to obviously so many different brunch spots and so many good dinner spots in New York. There are 1,000 amazing restaurants in the city, but and this is like, oh, it's so hard to choose, but my favorite brunch spot is definitely the Loeb Boathouse in Central Park, just because it's so pleasant and beautiful, and it's like open air. It's basically like this porch balcony that sits on the water, and you can just like have brunch there, and then afterwards you can go on like a boat and like row yourself with someone around the little pond. It's so like The Notebook, and it's so cute. So that's definitely my favorite brunch spot, just because there's nothing else like it in the city. My favorite dinner spot would be a tie between the two places. So my go-to place in the city used to be this place called the Mermaid Oyster Bar, and it was in the West Village. But I actually just looked the other day and it closed down, which I am so sad about. But besides that, I would have to say a restaurant called Manhattan, because it's really high up in a building, and so the views are just amazing. And not only that, but the food is top notch. It's definitely more of like a special occasion spot. So if you're celebrating like an anniversary or a birthday or a graduation, to go to a place like that. But if I had to pick one that was my absolute favorite, it would probably be that one. But I definitely want to make future videos about my favorite spots in New York. Really good question, and it really depends. Some people say that you should have an entire year's worth of rent saved before moving. I would say that that's only true if you're moving here without a job and you're going to start searching for a job when you get here. That way you have enough of a cushion. But if you're moving here and you already have a job lined up, then I would say you need enough for your down payment for your apartment. So I talked about that in my video, the requirements for that. Make sure you have enough for your apartment, and then another couple thousand just for like cushion until you start to get your first paychecks. It's like hard because there's no like set amount that you would need, but it definitely depends on if you already have a job lined up or not. So I've lived in Bed-Stuy and Windsor Terrace, which is basically like Park Slope. Bed-Stuy is more affordable. I literally lived in a townhouse there for $1,000 a month with 3 other roommates who are also paying about the same. And it's being built up. It's definitely up and coming, and a lot of young people are starting to move there. Windsor Terrace is more of a family neighborhood, so it's much more of like a safe neighborhood, and there's more like houses there. I got an apartment for about the same. Most people, when they think of Brooklyn, they think about Williamsburg. Williamsburg is great, but like it's not the only place in Brooklyn, but that is a very typical, like very popular spot in Brooklyn that people move to. You can easily take the L straight into the city, so that's a great spot. And then also I would say the best places to live in Brooklyn are Brooklyn Heights and Dumbo, but they're also just as expensive as Manhattan is. So it's like, why don't you might as well just live in Manhattan for those prices, because they're right on the water, they overlook the city, beautiful views, and there's such fun things to do around there. Like there's the Time Out Market, and they do smorgasburg around there. Yeah, those would be like the main parts of Brooklyn that I would suggest moving to, but there's plenty of other good ones that I haven't mentioned. Yes, I have. I actually really like it. In New York, we have SoulCycle and Flywheel are like the two main cycling things. I've tried both, and I like SoulCycle better. Most people say that they like Flywheel better, but I don't, because it's more of like a hitting goals and hitting numbers thing, versus SoulCycle is more like just pedal to the music and feel it out. And I like that a lot better than having the pressure of on Flywheel, where you have to hit a certain number and you're like up on the leaderboard and it's a competition. I don't like that. Some people thrive off of that, but I do not at all. So I like SoulCycle, and I don't know, I found some really good SoulCycle instructors. There's one actually like right nearby me, so once things open up again, I will for sure be going there, because it makes me think of, have you guys seen that movie I Feel Pretty with Amy Schumer in it? She goes to the SoulCycle that's right down there in the movie, and so I'm like, oh my gosh, like when everything opens up, I'm gonna be one of those girls that goes to that SoulCycle. So if anyone doesn't know, I got the Supergoop Daily Dose, which is a vitamin C serum, and I also got the miniature, like half an ounce size of the Creme de la Mer. Supergoop, I've been using it every single day. I actually really like it. I haven't noticed a difference in my skin, but I just have in the back of my head knowing that like no other vitamin C serums are really going to work because they don't combine with sunscreen. Because I guess the whole point of this vitamin C serum is that vitamin C doesn't really work unless it's combined with sunscreen, and this is the first serum that's really done that. So even if I'm not really seeing symptoms, I'm like, or seeing results, I'm kind of like, it must be working. So I've been liking it. I love the fact that it has SPF in it, because obviously that's the #1 best thing for your skin. Oh, the La Mer is good too. It's not as good as I thought that it was. I have been using it still occasionally, but now that it's starting to get warmer, I'm probably going to start taking it out of my skincare routine. But I still do use it from time to time, and I do think that it is good, but it's not going to be something that I repurchase, because I don't think that it's that much better than any other rich creams that I've tried. Difficult because I felt like it was just an impossible dream at the time, but in terms of staying positive, I think just doing the interviews and visiting New York so many times is what helped me stay positive, because every time I would come here for an interview, it was like a little taste of it, and then like another little taste, another little taste, and it motivated me so much, like this is what I'm going to do, and like I don't care how, I'm going to find a way to do it. Things like that, where like I would visit the city and just like get really excited by the things that I saw. Like I remember very distinctly after an interview, I think I went into like a Kate Spade store. I remember I was just like visiting my friend who already had a job in the city, and we got lunch together, and it just made it all feel kind of real, and I felt like, you know, I was wearing my interview outfit, so I felt like I was on my lunch break, like along with the other girls that were also on their lunch break, even though I wasn't, and it just, yeah, motivated me a lot. And so yeah, it's definitely hard to stay positive when you've been searching for so long and you've wanted it for so long, but just keep reminding yourself that like it's going to happen. first time that I've lived alone. I think that it's a wonderful experience. It's really made me grow to appreciate and learn how to entertain myself. And you can decorate the apartment exactly 100% how you want, as opposed to just like having to be mindful of other people. And I feel like for me, especially as someone who is a little bit more quiet and definitely more of a people pleaser, I felt like I never really got to truly express myself when I lived with other people. And I felt like, especially living with girls who had like a very strong personality, I felt like my opinion just didn't really matter, and so having my own apartment just gave me that opportunity to make it completely my own, put my own touch on it, and let me make all the decisions myself. So I'm 28 right now. In 5 years I'll be 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. I'll be 33 years old in 5 years, which it's not something that I even want to think about, because my 30s to me is just like the most terrifying, uncharted territory. I hope that I'm in a better place career-wise, and by the time I'm 33, or hopefully even by the time I'm 30, I'm doing something in my career that is 100% what I'm actually good at, because up until this point in my career, I've been doing things that I've learned how to do, like working with Excel and being a client-facing person, but that is not my personality at all, and that's not really where I shine. And I feel like we have all been put onto this earth with this one special gift, and if we get to do that as our job, then it's almost like you'll never work a day in your life, sort of. I mean, obviously you still will, and there's still whatever. But I feel like I'm not doing my thing in the jobs that I have had, and I've just been so scared to shift into what I actually want to do, because like financially it doesn't make as much money, and I want to live in Manhattan, and it's just like all about finding that balance and making adult decisions. But I hope that one day I can take that leap. Sorry, my camera died. I haven't just yet figured out the best route or steps that I need to take to get there yet. On that same note, my dream job would be doing something in video production. So I know that I produce videos for YouTube, but I love just producing videos in other ways as well, whether that's like a product video or just something that tells a story. I have to be storytelling. When I was younger, I was really into writing, and I just felt like I'm not very good at focusing, but when I was writing, I was just like the most focused that I've ever been, and it was something that I just wasn't able to take my mind off of, and I would just keep thinking about more ideas, and it was just like ideas flowing, and it just felt like the most true thing that I have experienced. And so I at first thought that I wanted to do writing, and I would still love to do something in writing or journalism, but now that I've experienced video editing, it feels like I can just be a storyteller in such a more dynamic way. And I don't know, the visual aspect of it I think is a lot more appealing and a better way of communicating, and I really think that it's the future. I would love to get into video production. I just don't know how to get there, and I don't know how to get there in a way that I'll actually make money, especially starting off. So that would be my dream job and dream location, probably New York. If not New York, in the United States, probably somewhere in California, like maybe San Francisco or somewhere warm. And then if not in the US, then Paris. No. So actually, I had never seen so many typical like New York movies or TV shows like Sex and the City. The only movie I would say that might have influenced my decision to move here was The Devil Wears Prada and 13 Going on 30, because those to me were like, okay, there's these career women who are working in journalism, who are working in fashion and like combining the two, and they're living their best lives. And that to me was always like what I thought I was going to do with my career. So I'd say if there was anything movie or TV wise, it would definitely be those two. Yes and no. I feel like before I moved here, everyone had this perception of like it's so hard to get a job in New York. And that was almost like a deterrent to me. Like it almost scared me off, people being so afraid. But the people that were saying that were people that didn't live in New York. And they were saying that because it was a representation of their own fears and their own insecurities. Not mine and not yours if you want to move here. So yeah, I would say, I'm gonna say it's not hard. A lot of people asked me about living with my boyfriend. It's not something that I want to answer on YouTube. It's a very personal thing, and it's just one of those questions that I can't talk about it. I'm sorry. My favorite restaurant in Brooklyn, I would have to say, is a place called Peaches. It is soul food in Bed-Stuy, and their shrimp and grits and everything else on the menu for that matter is amazing. And this is like actually like a really good place. Definitely recommend if you're in Brooklyn or the Bed-Stuy area. I really don't plan them that far in advance. For the vlogs, obviously, it's just like as the day comes. And it's, I mean, because like the whole point of the vlog is just to like, it's a video log of like a diary of your day or your weekend or your week. So vlogs are obviously not planned. For other videos though, like this one, like I wasn't even going to film this video until basically I sat down on Sunday and I was like, what do I want to do for Thursday's video? And I was like, I'll do a Q&A. Or actually I referred back to some of my like old suggestions that you guys have given me, and a couple people said Q&A. So yeah, and so I came up with this, put it on my stories, and here I am 2 days later filming it. I would say the only time that I really like plan my videos far in advance is during the holidays, like in December. I will plan my content a month in advance just because there's so many things that I want to do and I feel like I have to do in the Christmas time. So that's the only time that I really plan stuff far in advance. We've been together for I think 4.5 years now. Yeah, 4.5 years. So definitely a long time. We met in 2016, not that long after I first moved to New York. So I had a couple months of going out with my friends and being a single girl and just having fun. And then I met Lyle, and yeah, we've been together ever since. So I live in Soho, more specifically Nolita. And I would say the fashion is my like #1 top thing, obviously, because I'm right in one of the biggest shopping areas. I would have to say also the like historic buildings in Soho. There's so many beautiful buildings with like white pillars on them and cobblestone streets and like a couple little cafes, so mostly shopping. And so that is just like crazy to me. And then I guess just the fact that like it feels like the coolest area to live in, like especially the street that I'm on is like really cool. And so yeah, I don't know, I guess just like the overall like vibes from the neighborhood. Blah. I think that I would change it dramatically because I think that I've always kind of have stayed true to this. I've always had this one kind of aesthetic throughout my whole life. There's been parts of my life where I haven't fully embraced it because I didn't feel comfortable to. I felt like I had to wear things that weren't really me, and now I've since being in my late 20s, I felt so much more comfortable in my own skin and so much less, I've worried so much less about what other people think. And so it's allowed me to really come into myself and to just wear whatever I want. Would I change my aesthetic dramatically? Not dramatically, but I do think that my fashion and style is always ever evolving. So maybe it'll become more sophisticated. So many questions about how Lyle and I met. So Lyle and I didn't know each other at all. Right after I moved to New York in 2016, well, first I moved in 2015 and then I came back in 2016. I was out at a bar. We were celebrating one of my friend's friends coming back from living in Spain, that she was back in the States, and we went out to this place called the Jane, which is a bar in Meatpacking. And Lyle also went out to the bar in Meatpacking that same night, and we ended up being right next to each other in the bar. And the Jane is like, it's basically, it's like a haunted mansion inside is kind of what it looks like as far as bars go. It's like a big open room with like chandeliers and like floor to ceiling like grand curtains and like couches and everything. And so there was like a couch and a table and there was a DJ, and I was with my friends and I had been like drinking and I was jumping on the couch and Lyle and his friends were at the table nearby us, and I was dancing and they were kind of dancing, and I actually was dancing with one of his friends first. So Lyle and I were dancing, and then he basically got my number at the end of the night before he left, and I'm actually really glad that I gave him my real number, because at the time, like anytime a guy asked me for my number, if I wasn't so like 100% sure, I wouldn't give them my real number. So I'm glad that I gave him my real number. And so a couple days later he texted me, and I ignored the text for 2 days because I don't know. I texted him and we just started texting, and he asked me if I wanted to get dinner, and I said yes. He took me to this place called DBGB's, which doesn't exist anymore, but it was right on Bowery Street, and he was wearing a suit, which I really liked. He was only wearing a suit because he came directly from work and he had to wear like a suit at work, but I just thought that like he looked so good in this suit, and like I don't know, so like dressed up. We ate dinner and just talked and like got to know each other. And yeah, then at the end of the night he was like, yeah, I really enjoyed this. And then after that we basically like continued talking over text, kept going on dates, and then yeah, it just kind of went from there. And then 4.5 years later we're still together. Oh, thank you. I have visited Greece. I went in 2018 and it was beautiful. I completely fell in love with Greece. We flew into Athens, then we went to Santorini, an Airbnb right on the water, and it was just so beautiful. And then we went to Mykonos for a couple days and also had an Airbnb there, and that was just amazing. The whole trip altogether was just absolutely beautiful, and I would go back to Greece in a heartbeat, and I would love if you were my guide. I would love to start a fashion line. That's something that I feel like I dream about all the time. If I were to do it, I'd want to like sew the clothes myself. I don't know, but like that's something I really want to do, is like learn how to sew. If I were to build one, like I feel like I would need to know a lot more about actual clothing design. Like there are people who go to school for years specifically learn about clothing, so it's kind of like, to me it's like, you know, like who am I thinking that I could just pick that up like it's nothing? There's so many clothing pieces that I wish existed that don't exist, but I can picture them in my head exactly what I want. So I almost want to make a fashion line just to like be able to create the things in my head in real life and share them with other people. So I would love to make a fashion line, but obviously financially that's a huge investment, not one that I'm able to take on right now, but if ever in the future there were an opportunity, 1000% yes. Well, my apartment is not pet friendly. I can't have a pet, but I probably wouldn't at this stage of my life anyways, because a pet is a huge commitment. And just given that I live the type of lifestyle where I'm working all the time, when I'm not working, I'm with my boyfriend or just doing YouTube stuff, I don't really have time for a pet. And I feel like I would need to actually be able to dedicate a lot of time, because it's a huge commitment for like 10 plus years, and you know, just like all of the walking and feeding and making sure that you always take them out to go to the bathroom. But if I did, I would definitely get a dog. I am a dog person. I love dogs. I grew up with 2 golden retrievers and they were the best dogs. And so if I had to get a pet, it would probably be a dog, and it would probably be a golden retriever. Yes, I started Shoot Saturdays back up last weekend. I will leave a link to the vlog. I'm back on in the streets with my tripod and started doing Shoot Saturdays. I hope to keep it up. I didn't do 4 outfits, I just did 1 outfit. So hopefully I can plan stuff out in advance and start to do more Shoot Saturdays, because I forgot how much I loved it. And also, it's so much more convenient now, because I used to take the train in 45 minutes from Brooklyn to get to Soho, and now I live here. So what is my excuse? So, I mean, COVID was my excuse, but I'm, you know, trying to get back out there. So yes, definitely Shoot Saturdays will be back. I think that I am definitely a Charlotte with a little bit of Carrie, but mainly probably a Charlotte, because I feel like Charlotte is a little bit more reserved and wants her life to happen in certain ways and isn't as, like, I feel like out there as some of the other characters. Yeah, so I'd say I'm definitely a Charlotte, but there's things about Carrie that also I feel like are very much like me as well, like the fashion mostly. Like Carrie is really into fashion and shoes. Oh my gosh, Carrie loves shoes. I love shoes. I love that she wears like big, you know, tulle skirts, and her outfits throughout the whole series are just really fun. And also she's a writer, and so, and you know, part of me feels like I'm a writer too. And so, alright, the last couple of questions are just people being very, very sweet. The hubby and the wifey, Miss Lily, who has been supporting my channel since like the very, very, very beginning. So thank you so much. If I haven't said that out loud in a video yet, I really appreciate your support. She said, "I cannot say this enough. You are an amazing, independent, strong, and smart lady we all love." Little squirrel emoji. So thank you so much. My cousin Anna said, "Not a question, just an I miss you, and I hope we can get together soon." Yes, I hope we can too. Cousin Jessica also said, "When can I come visit? I'm vaccinated." Oh, okay. Well, that's all. I didn't know you were vaccinated, so that's great. Well, I'm not vaccinated yet, so maybe we'll have to wait until then, but hopefully soon. Alright, and that is it. This video was way longer than I was expecting it to be. I was expecting this to be quick, but I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that I answered your question. If you had a question that you didn't get a chance to, or like a Q&A that you didn't get a chance to put in the box on Instagram, then leave it down below in the comments, and yeah, we'll I guess talk about it there. But yes, I'm done talking about myself now. Goodbye. I appreciate you watching. Don't forget to subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. And check out the fashion swirl. And hopefully I will see you guys next time. Okay. Bye.